own attitude to that expression of Allah's rububiyyah, that is Allah's, how would you translate rububiyyah, Mr. Saleh? Fun?
Cannot be translated.
Yes. But you know, that the first act of his creating and giving it a motion taking it from lower to a higher degree of development and so on, which is a very, very wide attribute of God, with which the whole universe not only starts but begins to take shape. And every atom begins to acquire more properties as it progresses in time. And the universe as a whole continues to evolve. This is rububiyyat. Now this rububiyyat can be divided into two parts, inanimate and animate. When the rububiyyat expresses itself or manifests itself in the inanimate world, then nobody watches it but God. When animate beings come into play, they also participate in the affairs of the universe, then this rububiyyat creates its own eyes, those who begin to watch and those who begin to react with all these untold favors of Allah. Now when that eye develops into the eye of man and he begins to watch these favors, his attitude would determine then whether these are really favors in his favor or curses for him. Now this is the last verse of the Surah Fatiha, which now this is exactly depicted by the last verses of the Surah Fatiha, because the subject of Anamta alayhim is immediately connected with Maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. The path described is one and the only path, which should be either the path of Anamta alayhim or the path of Maghdub or the path of Dallin. But strangely enough, that one path is mentioned and you are expected to pray to Allah that we want to traverse the right path, but the right path of the righteous people on whom you have shown favors, not the right path of the people on whom you have incurred your wrath. So the most important significant point to be noticed is this, that the path remains the same. The favors remain the same. Whether they will be turned into disfavors, this issue is to be decided by man who comes into interplay with these favors. And the favors are innumerable, so the trials become innumerable. We can ignore these innumerable favors until we become our own gods. That is incurring the wrath of Allah in full, like so many people in this modern age are doing. They see the favors of Allah, they cannot count them. As far as that goes, they agree fully, but they don't see them as favors of Allah. They see them as just automatic happenings, accidents of nature, this and that. The result is that they break their ties with the hand that has shown them favors. And they want to enjoy the favors but not love the hand which has fed them with those favors. So that is the beginning of the end for them. That is how they begin to incur the wrath of Allah. And similarly there are those who realize that these favors are shown to them by someone, and they fully realize that everything is designed and created and organized. Yet they do not understand the significance of all this and have a sort of semi-conscious attachment with the whole universe. So So they also fall into the category of Dhalin. They fall into the category of Dhalin, not of Maghdub alayhim. As far as the Maghdub are concerned, they are the defined ones. But when we come to these words later on, then I will tell you that the word Maghdub also has been used so widely that you have to cover the meaning and the full connotation of this word over a long period. Similarly is the case of Dhalin. But when you discuss the word Anamta alayhim, even before we reach the part Maghdub and Dhalin, we have to keep referring to these two, because otherwise the full meaning of Anamta alayhim cannot be comprehended properly. So, in the very beginning, I confess my inadequacy, my incapability of even counting the favors of Allah which have been referred to in the Surah Fatiha verse Anamta alayhim. And secondly, I assure you that whatever is in my power, whatever Allah has bestowed on me, of whatever knowledge He has bestowed on me, I shall try to take you along the journey of studying the meaning of Surah Fatiha and enjoying its beauties to the best of my capability. The word Inam is used by the Holy Quran both in material terms as well as in spiritual terms. And also there is an idiom used in the Holy Quran, Itmam-e-Nema, the completion of Allah's favors. Previously, I was under the impression that Itmam-e-Nema only means the phenomenon of prophethood. Thereby only Allah completes His Nema, completes His favors, and Itmam-e-Nema simply means for someone to become a prophet, to be made a prophet. But later on, when I studied the Holy Quran more intently, I came to realize that the word Itmam-e-Nema is also applicable to the material developments of Allah's favors. And here in material terms, it means an evolutionary process of the universe of which the man is the ultimate result. So the Holy Quran itself speaks of this in the following verses and some others. وَاللَّهُ أَخْرَجَكُم مِّن بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُم لَّا تَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ أَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ مُسَخَّرَاتٍ فِي جَوِّ السَّمَاءِ مَا يُمْسِكُهُنَّ إِلَّا اللَّهُ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِكُمْ سَكَنًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن جُلُودِ الْأَنْعَامِ بُيُوتًا تَسْتَخِفُّونَهَا يَوْمَ ظَعْنِكُمْ وَيَوْمَ إِقَامَتِكُمْ وَمِنْ أَصْوَافِهَا وَأَوْبَارِهَا وَأَشْعَارِهَا أَثَاثًا وَمَتَاعًا إِلَىٰ حِينٍ وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّمَّا